Hey, Adarsh, I can't really see anybody joined in. So, shall I start or should I wait?
You can start because people are posting.
So, they already joined in, right? Okay, so let's just begin with the today's seminar. First of all, hi everyone, this side Terabyte, and I hope you all know me. If not, then you'll get to know me by the end of this session. So I'm here presenting along with Cyber Era. The topic is advanced reconnaissance. Let me just explain why this topic, because I personally feel that almost everybody need to know about what reconnaissance is, how it works, and what kind of things we can experience in the whole process, and what things we should be considering when we are performing reconnaissance. So, my name is Akash Sharma. I go by the name Terabyte. You can easily find me on any social media with this name. That's about me. So, today's agenda for the seminar is going to be a little overview on what is reconnaissance, also the description on asset discovery, what is it, how to do it, content discovery, automation, how really helpful it can be. And this was my really favorite topic. It's called digital dumpster diving. I really like it personally because it's really interesting how we do it. So if you know dumpster diving, it's like getting into trash cans and collecting information, but digital dumpster diving is really interesting. I'll also, time to time, I'll keep sharing some real life examples by which you can understand easily. So let's start with the first thing. Why reconnaissance? Okay, why this thing? Why we are here today, and why am I saying a lot of things about reconnaissance? Because I feel that this helps a lot in self improvement. It helps in networking, communication. You talk about gathering information and collecting information from more and more people. And my career was built and boosted based on bug bounties itself from the very beginning. So I feel that this helps a lot in bug bounties. And yeah, competition makes it more fun. So when you are involved into this kind of activity, you actually experience a lot of new things. And I feel that that's the best part of it. And even better is that who doesn't like some extra cash, you know? Because when you do bug bounties, you earn something. Even if you don't, you learn some new stuff, and it just it is just worth it. It's all worth it, all the efforts. So yeah, that's why. Now let's talk about the real stuff we are here for. What is reconnaissance? Everybody says, okay, we know about it, we have been like researching a lot of stuff, but they don't really know about reconnaissance. Reconnaissance comes from a military term, it's a military operation term, and it's more of about exploration about a particular target or a particular area, by the friendly forces to gain more information about the natural features and all the environment details, where they exactly are, or where what exactly they are dealing with. In computer science, reconnaissance means somewhat the same thing. Here, what we do is basically we are understanding how the application is built by which we are dealing with. We understand how the application process the data, right? We understand how the communication is taking place. We find all the possible entry points for our company assets, like from where a new data can be generated, or where it is being stored, or how the communication is going on. And we find as many files, folders, endpoints, and we find all the information about that particular application we are dealing with. Now, that can be an application, that can be a person, that can be a system. We cannot put a word to it. So I'm not sticking to a particular word, but that's how we actually do reconnaissance, and that's what we do with it. Right. So, this was the definition of it. This is what reconnaissance deal with. Now, this table that you're looking at, this is what I call a visual guide to reconnaissance. Now, in this visual guide, I'll explain the whole table. So, if you see my mouse as well, you can see that first three things that we consider majorly in reconnaissance is asset discovery, OSINT, and vendor services. So let's begin first with the asset discovery part, and I'll keep explaining every single step over here, every single details over here, whatever I've mentioned. This is like a visual guide to reconnaissance, how we should proceed further with it. Additionally, whatever slides I'm showing at the end of this session, I'll share all the slides with you guys, so don't worry. I'll share with the Cyber Era team, and I think they will share that with you. I'll just give them out. So first part here is about asset discovery. Okay, let's understand first what is an asset. Asset is anything that is owned by a particular company or a particular organization. All right. Let's say there is a manufacturing company, and if there are, let's say, 100 machines, so those 100 machine are their asset. Okay. And if they have like 20 shares or 300 shares in the market, those 300 shares are their asset as well. So asset is something that an organization owns. So we are going to discover about them. We're going to make discoveries that can be helpful. So in this process, we have two things that we'll cover. That is subdomain brute force and certificate transparency. Okay, just to ask and confirm, my voice is clear, right? You guys can hear me. Is it fine? Can you just type yes just to confirm in the comments? I'll wait for the responses. Okay, great. So we'll proceed with it. Fine. I see a response here. Cool. All right. So, subdomain brute force and certificate transparency is something that we're going to talk about initially. So, yeah, what is subdomain brute force? So, brute force is a generalized method of forcefully or by putting some additional efforts and putting some additional scripts, we collect and we extract some information out of a particular area of interest. Now in this case, we can get variety of results. Okay, so in our case, we let's talk about different environments. Our environments can consist of a developer environment, corporate, stage environment, or UATs. Now, if you talk about for an example, you will take a look over here for a demonstration of a subdomain. The subdomain is dev.site.com, right? So we can get different kind of subdomains for different situations. Like we can have a dashboard for dev.site.com, or we can have a subdomain with a hyphen. You see, so these two subdomains are quite different, but the reason that they are important is because they are completely different environments, right? In dev.site.com, we might have a different kind of stuff that we might be able to see. And in this kind of domain, we might have a dashboard on which I can try some authentication based bugs, or I can test for some vulnerabilities. So that's how they are different. Okay. Now, the tools that you can use is they are listed over here. These are some of the ones which I use quite often. So there is very own sublister, mass DNS, alt DNS, DNS parallel prober, DNS scan, NocPy. Also, if you'll see my video YouTube channel later, I have made a video on subdomain brute force tools. You can maybe take a look later. There is like I have made a complete video on this, like on how to use these tools as well. You can take that, maybe check that out later if you want to. So yeah, these are the tools that you can use. I'll show you a quick demonstration of an online utility, how you can use it, and what is it for. Just give me a second. Let me just share my complete screen with you guys instead of just a browser. Uh, okay, here we go. So now you're looking at my complete screen, and that's my browser. Okay. This is called VirusTotal. VirusTotal is a really great application for you can say for different purposes, but the kind of purpose that I'm using here for is going to be different. I'm going to use it for subdomain enumeration. All right. So let's take any random sub the website called um, how about Google itself? Why not? So when I'm searching on VirusTotal, there is this column of relations. Go into that one. And in relations, you will see there are subdomains enumerated over here. So you don't even need any of these tools that I mentioned, right? But you can simply go in the VirusTotal and can get the active subdomains. You can see they're all listed over here, okay? So yeah, you can just keep scrolling and scrolling, and then you can get them all. So I prefer VirusTotal sometimes if I'm feeling lazy to start my Kali, or if I'm on a Windows client. Like right now, I'm using a Windows laptop, so I prefer VirusTotal. So yeah, I mean, you can use any of the ones that you feel using. So yeah, that was one of them. So next that I spoke about was subdomain brute force. Is Yeah, it's pretty boring because you have to go to all single tools and you have to find them one by one. That's not quite something that we look for, isn't it? Like if we are hackers, we need something automated that happens all of it by itself. We don't need to go to all this tool one by one and find information by ourselves. So I'll tell you an automated way as well by which you can automate the whole process. We'll come back to that automation part in the upcoming slides. I'll explain that as well. So if you look into certificate transparency, that was the second topic, if you remember. So, okay, here is the thing. Like if a company loves their website, if they want their website to be secure, and if they want a subdomain to be secure, they will definitely want to put a certificate to it, right? Now, the certificate holds some real good importance and real good credential and details. Okay. Whenever we look for an SSL certificate, always look for some some tokens or some variables that can give out some information. So, when we are looking for active subdomains, we look for SSL certificates because not all the subdomains will have a certificate all the time. Only the ones which are required and which are important, only they will have a particular certificate. Now, I was testing on this website called uber.com. I hope you already know about it. So you can use this awesome tool called Census for gathering subdomains. If you want, just take a screenshot for this syntax that I used in order to gather the SSL certificates, or maybe when I give you the slides, you will have this already with you. So by this, I just need to give the name of the target website which I want the certificates for, and I can get all the domains which have the certificates. And now the condition is that I only have those valid subdomains which have a certificate, and I don't need to go through all 500 subdomains, but I just need to go through those valid subdomains which have a certificate. So this way, I'm basically narrowing my attack surface. Right, that is also very important. So next, we also have this amazing tool called Showdown. Showdown is into being my fantasies for a long time since I was a beginner, and Showdown can be used for a lot of great stuff. Okay, and this is one of them. I can find any number of ports, any number of any kind of product that I want, like Tomcat or let there be Struts or Apache or whatsoever, and the title as well, like in case if there's a Jira dashboard. Jira is another, you can say, content management system that is also used worldwide. I can look for any particular host name. I can look for an organization. I can look for a particular SSL certificate. You can see again in this picture here, I'm looking for Uber, and I'm looking for port 443. That is the port for SSL. Again, I'm getting all the details for the SSL ports and all the SSL open locations for Uber itself. So this way I can again do the narrowing. I can again narrow down my attack surface. The best part about Showdown is that you can get it for really less price, or maybe even for free if you have a university account or something like that. So if you're a student or something, you can easily get one for free of cost. So this was a tweet that I saw, and I was really happy to see that okay, students can get it for a really cheap price, I guess. So yeah, you can go for it. Even recently, they were just giving out for $1. I don't know if you know about it. So they gave it for just single dollar. So I got that at that time. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's how Showdown can be really helpful. I'll recommend that. Now, talking about OSINT. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, something that a lot of people don't know about. And the the funny part is that a lot of people use this technique, but they don't know that what that is called OSINT. Now, OSINT again is a big part of reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is not limited to publicly available information. Reconnaissance can be for anything, for X, Y, Z, anything. But when it comes to specifically public information, what we do is we perform open source intelligence. Now, open source intelligence again can be divided into two different parts that I personally feel that should be known to every person who performs reconnaissance. First part is the ARIN, and second part is acquisitions. Let's talk about them one by one. So ARIN is a great tool that we'll talk about. Let's first talk about acquisitions. Now, acquisition comes from a term of forensics, which is called as acquisite. Now, to acquire something means that to take over something. If you know recently that this tool, we might have heard about this tool called Fitbit. Fitbit is a gadget that is used by most of the fitness freaks and stuff. But recently, if you know that Fitbit was also acquired by Google, right? So they acquired it for 2.1 billion. I mean, that's a very big price for sure. But they acquired it sometime in 2020, I guess. They will complete it by 2020 itself. But yeah, they acquired it, and now Google owns Fitbit. So my point here is that a lot of companies acquire a lot of sub small companies, right? So here, if you see, I'm looking into Facebook. I'm looking into companies that are acquired by Facebook, that how many companies are now owned by Facebook. All right. So if you take a look here, Giphy. Now, Giphy is a very open platform for GIFs. You might have sent GIFs to your friends, coworkers, family, and these GIFs are also sometimes integrated from Giphy. Now, the point is, Giphy is acquired by Facebook, so it's a part of Facebook now. So, the logic here, why we actually look into it, is because after an amount of 6 months, let's say Facebook acquired Giphy today. So after 6 months from today, it will be a part of Facebook's bug bounty platform. That means that if you find a bug in Giphy, that will be monitored and processed by Facebook. So that's the best part. So if any company is there which was acquired 6 months before by Facebook, I can still find some bugs in that company website or company application, and that will be monitored by Facebook itself. And this is something that not a lot of people know about. So yeah, that's the best part. You can look into bigger companies like Facebook, Yahoo, Google, Uber, or let's say Amazon. You can look into Amazon. Amazon these days are acquiring a lot of new companies and startups, and you should be definitely be updated about it. So whenever you're doing a bug bounty, or whenever you're looking into bug hunting, or you're checking into some company, definitely look into this acquisitions. Now, how you can do is just go on Crunchbase, and you can just search for that company name, and you can look for the acquisitions over here. You can see. In these all details, in this all tabs over here, just go into acquisition and you will see all the details about the transactions they have made till date. So that's how you do it. That's another open source intelligence that you do. uh, Next is Aaron. Aaron is again an open source platform for company details, but it's all about how you use it. Aaron is American Registry Index, American Registry Index. Okay, so in this index, what happens is that you actually can find a lot of information about a particular company. Let's say I was searching here for Yahoo, and for Yahoo, I got to know a lot of IP addresses in their network resources. If you take a look here, I got to know a lot of IP ranges. And now in these IP ranges, I can actually find a lot of active internal connections or internal IPs or any other, um, let's say, any other server IP addresses that might be running some other kind of services. I can find a lot of stuff here. And apart from the traditional website, I can find bugs into these IP addresses as well because they are that first of all that is the public information as well. Additionally, this is owned by Yahoo, and hence, whatever bug I find, it will be a valid one. So that's also what you can look into. It's all about you need to know how to use Aaron. So that's it. You just spend some time on Aaron, and I'm pretty sure like you'll just get used to it. It's not that tough. You can obviously just YouTube for that, of course. I don't need to spoon feed to you guys. I reckon, and I feel like you can do that part by yourself. If in case any problems, you can just feel free to reach me back any point of time later. Yeah. So next part after OSINT is the content discovery. We talk about asset discovery and OSINT. Now let's integrate everything that we just covered and put this into a single variable called content discovery. Right. Now here we talk about some more specific details that we find. We find visual identification, we find port scanning, we find directory brute force, and we find the most interesting thing called JavaScript files. Now, JavaScript files are easily accessible and mostly ignored. That's a sad part. I've recently found some of my fellow bug hunters find really good bugs in some simple JavaScript files, and they got bounties anywhere ranging between $1,000 and $1,500, and that was amazing. So coming back to the point of content discovery for port scanning. Now, port scanning is something that obviously everybody knows if they know a little basic of Nmap, right? You know about it. So if you don't, so that's okay. You can always Google for that. So we do this thing called screenshot some open ports. Now, this screenshot is not like a regular screenshot you take on your cell phone or your computer. The screenshotting is a different process. I'll just explain in the upcoming slide. Right, we screenshot for default ports and we look for files and directories. Now, looking for files and directories is very easy. How? It's pretty simple. I have given a step by step guide here. Let's say you got an open port on example.com that is 8443. You directory brute force this open port with any of the tool. Let's say you use directory buster, right? You got an admin directory, but it says 403. Now, 403 is a response code for forbidden, right? So the brute force then begins for more files and directory on admin. You still went further even after seeing 403. But in this case, what we got is admin slash users.php, which is giving 200. Now that is interesting because we didn't see anything in admin, but when we go into the users, we saw it's open. Now 200 is a successful response code. That means any page that you visit and it opens and give you information, have a response code of 200. These are browser response code. You can always Google search if you don't know about them. It's pretty basic stuff that I'm discussing. And then you should keep repeating this on different domains, ports, and folders, and so on and so forth. So if this is accessible, this is a clear bug, and I'm gonna earn some real good dollars, some real good amount. So yeah, that's a different part of the game. But yeah, we should look into the bugs first of all, not the money. So, my point here is that you should look into ports. Port discovery is really important. Now, these are some common ports that I always look into. You can take a screenshot of them, or definitely you're going to have the slides later. So, taking screenshots of different ports is done by this tool called webscreenshot.py. Now, this is available on GitHub. You can always get that. You can download it from GitHub. So this what this tool do is basically it takes a screenshot of a port. That means it will check for me. Let's say if there are 1,000 ports that are open on a website. Obviously, I'm not going to search for all 1,000 ports. I'm not going to scan every single port and check if it is having some sort of directory or something or not. This tool over here, webscreenshot.py, will do that for me. It will check every single port and will check which port is having some directory or file hosted. And that's the best part about it. So basically, I am doing automation here. So this is a part of automation, and this gives me a functionality of not going through manually, but just leave it run and leave. And at the end, it will give you the details. Okay, fine. These many ports are open, and these many files are there. Let's just look into them one by one. So if I was having 1,000 ports, now I have 50 files to look into. Simple as that, right? Now, directory or file brute force can be done with these tools. These are the ones which I use personally. Derby or Go Grabber, GoBuster is a really great tool for sure. There are probably more tools that you might have made or you might have seen. If yes, please feel free to reach me out with them. I would like to see your creations too. So yeah, why not? Moving forward for automation, right? Automation is interesting as always. Why not? So automation is a part where you um, use some simple tricks and tips in order to gain more information. Like just we used a simple tool and we automated all our manual efforts into a single command. That's it. You just need to run that web screenshot.py and it runs it by itself. Now this thing called um, Google dorking is something that is underestimated a lot of times, and this is really important to understand. Now I'm doing this thing called AWS Reconnaissance. AWS is Amazon Web Service, so they have their own servers for different kind of services they provide. So I'm looking here for S3 buckets on Google. If we'll take a look, I use a simple dork which automated my search for myself. I use site s3.amazonaws.com, and I used a dork for Uber over here, and I'm getting all the AWS servers for Uber. Now, the best part about AWS servers is that you can get a lot of servers which might be misconfigured, or if you know about AWS pen testing, then I think you can easily relate to this. If not, then you can maybe just you do your research on AWS pen testing, how that works. Again, I have a video on this as well. You can take a look on my channel later. So yeah, so the point is that when you find these kind of libraries and these kind of open AWS servers that can be accessed, you can still find bugs in them. So that's the best part about it. So here you don't have to find into a single subdomain, every single subdomain. You don't have to keep trying and trying. Simply use a simple dork and it automates it for you. I'll say repeat this on GitHub as well. GitHub is an open source platform wherein you can upload your piece of code. And recently there was this vulnerability that was found that some XYZ organization in Europe was having some of their tokens, some of your security tokens that were in GitHub of their own employee. So yeah, that kind of vulnerabilities can be seen as well. All right. Now I'm coming to the part which I like the most, that is digital dumpster diving. Okay. So I have been doing this for a very long time. Like even when I was not into cybersecurity or bug hunting, I was doing it even then. So this is about collecting information from the past, right? It's like getting credentials, getting tokens, authorization headers, on and on and on and on. So if there is something that is leaked on the internet, we need to find that, and we do that with the help of digital dumpster diving, right? Leaks are everywhere. It's just that you have to look into them. How? I'll just let you know a few steps how we can do it. So, first thing that we refer is the GitHub Recon. As I just said, GitHub is a big source of information. It's just a big pool of information. You just have to dive a little bit deep in it. So there are some tools like GitHub, Trufflehog. Trufflehog is an amazing tool. It gives you a lot of information and really easy and good interface. Let's say, for example, how I do it is I look for company.com and passwords, or company.com and API key, and I can get creative with anything. Let's say I look for company.com um, password, and I look for an Excel sheet or something, or a PDF file. I can look for anything else, right? So the point is that you can be as creative as you want, but the point is the end goal is to get more information, okay? Or if you're doing it manually, that's how you do it. Otherwise, these tools will automate this stuff for you, okay? It will just automate everything up for you. Get Secrets and Trufflehog, I recommend personally. Now, moving forward, we have some examples over here. You can see these are some examples. When I said get creative, you can get creative with all these example. You can also look for AWS secret keys. You can also look for API keys, PayPal keys. PayPal is one of the greatest target for organizations who are using PayPal as a payment gateway. And yeah, that can be sometimes really juicy and interesting. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, you can use any of these creations that I personally use when I'm doing bug hunting. So yeah, yeah. Okay, moving forward. Okay, what do we have here? We have archive.org. It's really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna show you something practical on this one. So okay, this slide is good. It's fair enough. Let's see practical. Okay. What do we have here? Archives.org. So I was into this investigation part. You can say I was working with some defense organization for some investigation on a online fraud company that was going with the name of Quick Solutions, Quick Solve Support. So if you see the website now, it doesn't really exist. Quicksolvesupport.com. The site cannot be reached, right? So simply I'm just gonna copy the whole website, and I'm going back into the Wayback Machine here, and I'm going to put the website here, and I will ask it to please find me some more information on it. Okay. So how this work is that it will check into the earlier images that were saved for this particular website. So you see, this website was active from 2015 to 2018, mid of 2018 actually. So there was some online fraud company who were scamming people for money in United States, and I was working with some of my clients in United States, and I and them basically busted this whole fraud. So I know a little bit more about them. So yeah, let's not get that deep into it, but I'll show you an example how we can look into a website which is no more existing. If you see, there is a image that is saved for May 24th. I'll just look into it. Let's see what do we have here. Okay, I'm waiting for the response. Page cannot be displayed. Okay, let's it's a spoiler. Let's go a little more back. Okay, a little more back, I guess. 2016. Mm-hmm. How about this one? Okay, I think we're getting something here. Okay, yeah. So this is how the website used to look back in 2015. That was on December 12th. So yeah. So basically, what I mean to say is that you can actually see how the website used to look, and how you can see how the website used to function. You can see there is a number given over here. This is how they were busted with this number and this email address. We actually find their actual location with this. There was a lot of things that are involved. I don't want to get that deep into it, but yeah, for the sake of understanding, that's how you can understand like how we actually gather more information about them. Now, if you get back to our slides, what we actually gather with this Wayback Machine, we select a date, we review the source code of the website, we find JavaScript files, we find old endpoints and functions and exploit them. So it simply means that, see, if a website is updating themselves, they are going to update all of their libraries, all of their JavaScript files, and everything else. But the point is that when you are using Wayback Machine, you are able to see their previous versions as well. And if there is an endpoint that was mentioned and removed later, you can see that. If there was an internal IP that was being disclosed, you can see that. If there is some open port that you're not able to see now, but that was earlier there, you can see that. So it's like going back in time and see like how things were made, and then you can exploit them coming back in the future. So it's just like that. So I want that you should understand the use of archive.org and use it wisely by exploiting JavaScript files. It's really interesting. Um, JavaScript files. Now, how do you actually exploit and understand it? So there is this amazing tool called JSParser, again available on GitHub. You can get that. It's an open source tool. So what it will do is that it will give you some important pointers in the whole JavaScript file. How you have to look, all what you have to do is just upload the whole source code into JSParser, and it will show you the main points that you should look into. You see over here, it's just highlighted all over. So that's the best part about it. So even if you don't know the complete JavaScript, if you just understand the syntax a little bit, you can actually figure out a lot of things from this details over here. You can see there are some endpoints shown over here: v1 help, submit contact. So this can be like an API or something that can be running. I don't even know like what was this for. This was a screenshot I took a long time back, so please don't mind that. Yeah, so that's what I mean to say. This is how you can filter a JavaScript file and get a lot of details out of it. JSParser, as I said, is all available. You just have to, it's a Python tool, so you can install it on your end and then you can start using it. It is basically, it's not a pen testing tool, to be very frank. It is a JS beautifier. Okay, so it basically filters and makes your JavaScript more beautiful and easy to understand. But as a bug hunter, I can use it for completely different purpose, right? So what do you have to do? You have to look for endpoints, you have to look for cloud instances, secret keys, API tokens, and definitely more bugs, like as many as you can find. It depends on how better you know JavaScript. So yeah, so the more you know, the more you exploit. Simple as that. Sure. Everybody who is like requesting for the document, definitely I will share the document. Don't worry about it. I will share this whole all the slides with the people at Cyber Era. They will share this with you. All right. So these were all the things that we do in Reconnaissance. I just explained almost every single thing here, what we do, how we do. The only part is remaining is your performance. Now, the thing is that when you are performing reconnaissance, I know a lot of points will be missed. There will be some things that you might forget. So it depends on your practice, okay? So there are still a lot of things that even I missed in this presentation, but I just wanted to point out some unusual things that a lot of people don't they don't really think is useful. But there is this one interesting thing that a lot of people say. I say to a lot of people is that everything is counted. All right, every single detail is counted. So make sure you look into everything. And if you have any kind of questions, please feel free to get back to me and ask out right now. If you want me to explain something all over again, feel free for that as well. And if you want to add some point, just let me know in the comment section. I'm still looking into the comments if you want to ask anything. So Truth Tech is asking how to approach a target for bug hunting. See, the word approach can have multiple meanings. Now, when it comes to approaching a target, it can be in different ways. I don't know how should I take it, but I'll try to explain it. Um, okay. So, when it comes to bug hunting, selecting a target is very important. Now, I used to, okay, I have been into this domain for like professionally, I'm into this for almost 6 years. Um, and professionally, I have been into this for more than 8 years now. So the point is that when I started with bug hunting in the very beginning, I used to just stick to Bugcrowd or HackerOne or platforms like these. But now I am exploring more and more, like more uh, places, you can say, or more programs, open source programs, or responsible disclosure programs. So I'm looking into more verticals basically, so that I can find more bugs, because platforms like Bugcrowd and HackerOne is already crowded with a lot of people who are already into that platform, and finding bugs is quite different in such a place. I will rather say look into a direction where not a lot of people are looking in already, because there you will find some real good bugs. Other than that, there will be a lot of people. If it is already crowded, it doesn't make sense that you should go there. So that's how I basically approach to a target. When it comes to selection of a target, it majorly depends on their responsible disclosure policy. What is inside the scope? What is out of the scope? What kind of uh, policy they have made? Who to report? Where to report? How they respond to it? So the approach can be very different. Okay. Are these OSINT enough for reconnaissance? Well, OSINT is no. I won't say that these are enough, but I just told you some more points that you can add to a basic OSINT. Now, OSINT itself is an enormous, you can say, domain to delve into. So I think like these two topics that I just told you will give you a real good broad spectrum information of how more better approach you can have when it comes to reconnaissance. So yeah, Krishna is asking how to start it with basic. I mean, for basic, for the sake of basic understanding, um, you just have to learn a little more information about how bug hunting works in general. Before even bug hunting, you should learn how web application pen testing work. You need to know the web application architecture, how it works, how application runs, what kind of features an application can have, and that kind of stuff. Okay, so somebody's asking what is verticals. By vertical, I mean, see, okay, so how I find, okay, I'll give you an example over here. Give me a second. I'll give you an example how I approach for selection of a target. Just a basic example. Just a second. All right. Okay. So let's get back here. Let's say I'm on Google and I'm looking for some website. So I simply go this way, type NL, and so here, what I'm doing is simply I'm looking for a NL domain that is for Netherlands, and I'm looking for responsible disclosure programs. So these programs are not available on platforms like Bugcrowd or HackerOne, but these are some open programs that they have. And if I go into this one, let's say I go into this one, that is surf.nl, right? So yeah, so this way I can this whole program is an open program, so I can still find a lot more. I can look for websites like for countries like EU, that stands for European websites. I can look for AU, that is Australian websites. I can look for even Japan. I can look for JP, that's Japan domains, so I can get Japanese websites basically. So this way I can find websites which are less explored, and there is a high probability that I might find some bugs in these one, because they are not that good explored. Let's say if I go into this one, um, jcci.or.jp. So I might look into them and I can find some bugs there and I can maybe report it because they have a vulnerability, responsible disclosure program, right? So this way I can shortlist my target. So Humble Boy is asking how to find untouched website or subdomains. My friend, there is no such way. There's no magic trick for this, to be honest. But this way, you can actually find lot more websites. Always look into different country domains, okay, like Japan, Australia, Europe, or UK, or Netherlands, maybe anything, right? Even in India, there are Indian websites with some responsible disclosure. PayU is giving out, right? Hostinger is there, Free Charge is there, Zeta.in is there. So yeah, just look into them as well because they do give out some real good bounties. To be honest, I personally experienced it. To be honest, so yeah, that's one way of doing it. If there's anything else I can help you with. Is there any okay, so say he said you're using docs to get responsible disclosure program, except that is there anything to get responsible TP? Well, see, okay, there's one more way of doing it, that you can connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with companies on LinkedIn for that as well. That is one way of approaching them. But I feel that so far docs are the best way of doing it because most of the bug hunting domain relies on Google Docs for the sake of getting responsible disclosures. So I think that's the best way that you can do it. Well, subdomain takeover can be a complete different topic, and I don't really have enough slides for that because I might have to show you some practicals as well. So that can be a topic for some other day, for some other seminar that I might give in the future, right? So yeah, or maybe I'll if I do how about okay, fine, I'll look if I can upload a video about it on my YouTube channel. Uh, I'll see if I can do that because I currently, to be honest, like I'm occupied with some new stuff also. But yeah, I do keep uploading videos on my YouTube channel every now and then. We can't find bugs as they show in tutorials. It's very obvious, humble boy, because it's not that easy either. Okay, one thing I want to say that if you're not able to find the bugs in the easy way, that means it is not actually that easy. So the point is that when you're being creative, when you're checking for bugs or when you're looking for bugs, you just have to build your own strategy. There is no definite way or there is no uniform way or a magic trick to find a bug. Okay, so even with me, what happens is that, let's say if I spend 3 days, I might find 20 duplicate bugs, but there will be one single bug that will be worth all the effort. So that's the point. So there is no point in getting sad about it or just getting discouraged. It's just that you just need to find more good approach or more good strategy. So, and that actually comes with time. The more you practice, the more you know about it, the more you deal with it. It's not me, not anybody else, not anyone in the whole world can actually tell you a uniform magic trick for finding a good bug. It's all about your own experience. We can tell you the methods, we can tell you the ways, we can tell you methodologies, but end of the day, you have to perform it. Oh, what is a list hanging fruits to get start finding bugs in Target? Okay, if you talk about the low hanging fruits, XSS, IDOR, or uh, CSRF, these are some of the like low hanging fruits that you can find. Even SPF domains, SPF records can also be one. Information disclosures. So these are some of the low hanging fruits that you can look for. You can start with, but I'll rather say should go for more. Okay, Sai Ritesh, if I will definitely, if I'll do another webinar, I'll make sure Cyber Era will let you know that, or I just keep uploading about myself as well on my social media. So if you want to get connected, feel free for that. I have no problem with it. Again, you can always search for Terabyte Official on any other social media. You will definitely get me. My Facebook recently got disabled for some reason. I don't know what. So apart from that, everything is fine. Any course of yours, you can connect with me on Instagram, Rohan Sindhu, if you want to. If you feel like that, you can connect with me on Instagram. I'll let you know about it. Any Kindly share any PDF related to methodology. Well, there is no such PDF that I have, but I will share my methodology. You can just DM and I'll share that with you if you want. I'll share some things that I do personally when it comes to bug hunting. So yeah, the username again, I'm saying it's Terabyte Official. If somebody want to connect with me, I'll put that in the chat as well. Yes, I have LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I don't know if you can see the screen right now. So that's my URL for LinkedIn. I am Akash Sharma. You can take a look at that later if you want. And yeah, I've got a few notifications here I can see. I'll check them later. But yeah, that's who I am on LinkedIn. And for guys who's asking for my YouTube channel, you can take a look here. Always search for Byte Cyber Labs. First channel that you get is mine. This one, a black logo over here. That's me. Yeah, that's me. This guy, the beard guy, that's me. Right. All right. So yeah, that's it. Okay, you want me to share the link? I don't know if I can do that here. Uh, yeah, but I mean, you can visit my Instagram and you will get everything over there. For my Instagram, that's me, Showdown official. Yeah, that's me. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, guys, for your cooperation and for joining in this session. I really appreciate and all the efforts that Cyber Era is putting in. Please follow these guys; they are doing a really great job by providing you these kind of seminars and webinars. And among this, even this lockdown situation, they are really trying hard to give you as many content as they can. We really appreciate that. And I wish all of you all the very best for your future. And please take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care and keep the scene alive. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And that's it from my end. Thank you. Others, I think you can take over from here. Yeah, also, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, one more thing that after this, in the description link, there will be a link for the form. That will be a feedback form. So kindly please fill that form so that you can get the certificate of attendance for this webinar. So make sure you fill the form in the description that is given, and you will receive it on your emails, respectively. All right. Thank you so much, guys, again, and see you sometime later. Till then, keep the scene alive.